try to read across the top as much as I can to try to remember what's going on. The basic principle here is that we are going very deep into the source of reality here. We're going into the Kesser of Eric Anpen, Kesser of Kesser. And we're looking at 3 letters. Actually, the way he does it, he has 3 letters, which are Yud, K, and Yud. And then he has also Yud, K, and Vav. To see how that's going. His basic over idea is that the Yud itself is only manifest in Zeir Anpin as a remez. I'm not sure exactly what that means, a remez, but it does not manifest itself personally. I guess that's what it is. With the Hey, there is a revelation there, and then there's also a shefa that comes down to the final Yud, which he says has to do with Zeir Anpin. So let's see what I can make out of the reading across the top, and if I can't do it really well, we'll pick up some of the bottom. And then we're going to wind up going back to the Birurim, or Birurim, I don't know what he calls it in the back, I forget now. So it starts like this: V'yom Elohim tajeh ha'aretz dashe, Esav mazriya zera eitz pri, and the rest of the phrase is eitz pri, Osif pri. So he says that the Eitz Pri is Malchus, the Osa Pri is Zeir Anpin. So that was that. So let's learn a little bit more. Haine Dechsev, and it is written like this: Ve'anisem es nafsho sechem b'tisha the chodesh be'erev, on the 9th of the chodesh, in the evening time, meaning Yom Kippur. So he says, we may have to come back over this again, but so see how much of it I can remember. Haizim, at that moment, you have this name Adni and Havaya. This is a different idea. You have this name Adni, which he said refers to Malchus, and Havaya with the Nikud of Elokem, he says in the Pirush, refers to Bina. So he says on Erev Yom Kippur, the night of Yom Kippur, that Malchus goes to Bina and leaves Zeir Anpin behind. So that's part of the idea of the Yud, K, and the Yud. Ata hachilosech laharos as avdaka as godlucho. So continuing on to the pasuk over here. Hashem shlim besitrui. So then it says the name Yud, K, Vav, K, which is Zeir Anpin, usually is complete in its place. It reminds it it's complete in its place. What does that mean? That Zeir Anpin gets the shefa that it needs in its place, I guess. Let me just look what I got here going on. Okay. So he says, V'hocha b'rikishu secha b'dacha da'aracha lo shlim yud ke yud lo ksiv. So not what rikishu means. He says, let's look down below where we have a number yud aleph right behind that. V'hocha b'rikishu b'dacha da'ara. V'hokan b'bechinas ivor shezer anpen v'nuk ro chashem b'socha bina chanikras eretz elyona, which is called the upper land, okay, because that's female idea of eretz. B'sod tadshah aretz dashet, going back to the first phrase he used, lo shalim, azer anpen adayim ena b'shlemos, he's not complete yet. While they're in the womb there, ki zer v'nuk, hoyradayim dakit, very, very thin, kakarni chagavim. And this is a point that he wants to make here. He says that at this point, the nukva precedes, I guess she's on top of Zeir Anpin, beside the letters Daled and Vav. Daled referring to the nukva, and the Vav referring to Zeir Anpin, and they're making the two partsufim. I don't forget what I was going to say here. Anpin besod du partsufim, which is a concept of two partsufim, and they make together the letter Hey. So then he goes on, he says, Agam aim zivug bezer anpin v'nukva ka'amar. There can't be any yichud in this position because nukva in the womb is up above Zeir Anpin. V'amar od yehi lo kasiv, and over here the word yehi, yud k yud, is not written. Ki dechein lo amar pasuk yehi esev bazria zera. Pasuk doesn't say let there be that. Ela esev mazria zera bilvad. So what's the difference? Vayinyan hu ki midas yehi romas the holedes zer anpin v'tziyas of the chutz. That's what it refers to. Ki shlosh osios shal yehi heim abba ve'ima besod yak. The zer anpin is besod yud. So that's a little bit of the introduction I was trying to make there. Behind the abba ve'ima shehem yud k molidim as zer anpin shuhu gam came besod os yud. So he's also the secret of the os yud. Now, the more investigation how that works, maybe we'll get that later. Lefichach atacha b'shasa iver shahadayim lo nolid v'nizgala zer anpin. Zer anpin is still gestating. Enim mazker milas yehi. Yehi means here it is, like that. Romez the holedet v'yitzia l'chutz, and is actually going out. V'amarak esev mazria zerav, and so therefore it's only an esev that produces fruit. That's zer anpin. So now let's go up to the top again, and let's see how if we can do anything else here. Karinin yud ilo yud tata. So we say that there's two yuds. V'yetzer yud ilo yud tata, and this also from the word v'yetzer. You have two yudim in there also. Now let me see if I can go on with that and get any understanding about it. So the word yehi, he has a parenthesis. He says, Rabbi Shimon says, yudi lo yud ta hey begavayu. And in between them, there's a hey. Klala the shlim shlim v'locha the kol star. So the general idea is klala the shlimo. We have to look that up. Shalim v'lo l'kar star. It's complete, but not in every place. So one more. So let's see. That was. We could stop there. Let's look at this a little bit. He says on page Kuf Tzadiches, where I was looking in the Pirush, Varma od yehi yudi lo yutato he bagavayu. What does that mean? So we've explained them. One is zer anpin, and one is erik anpin. Besod yud elyon the erik anpin, v'yud tachton the zer anpin, v'amnam yesh gam os he ben shtei yudin. Bagavayu, he says. So he says a yudin elu. It's explained later on, Shehi besod ruach chaim. This is, what is this hay? Now this, I thought the hay from looking in the Otros Chaim is a letter that is hidden in the ears. But he's not saying that. So that was the ears of Ak. Here we're talking about Erik Anpin. We're talking about the Kesser of Erik Anpin, and the 10 spheros in the Kesser of Erik Anpin. Shehu besod ruach chaim b'yotzad malchotim Erik Anpin, that comes out of the nose of Erik Anpin. He's saying the nose of Erik Anpin contains this ruach chaim, which is in the form of the letter hey, lahakios as zer anpin. So somehow it's an opening. And of Amar od klala the shlimo milas yehi. So when we take the word yehi, he said, "Who klal hashlemos shall zer anpin." It refers to all of the completion of when zer anpin in a state of when he's complete, which is what? Shavre osius yak. Those two letters shall midas yehi, heim sod kruma ilor shall chachma. This is the concept of the kruma that covers over the chachma, the kasser, which is inside. Now you're deeply inside the beginning of the manifestation of reality, the reality that we know here. Kruma ilor, which is a crust up above the chokhmah, the kasser v'ruach hachotem v'yotze b'bina the kasser, and these are so the word yak yud k refers to the kruma ilor, which is apparently the letter yud. Ruach hachotem, and also the ruach that comes through the nose, hayotze bebina de kesef. V'os yud achron shall yehi, hu zer anpin atzmo, zer anpin himself. So now it's just a nishrash v'diskayim ba'osios yod ke, that is rooted and sustained by those two letters. These letters yud ke el yonos, the Erik Anpin, which is on the very top of the kesser of Erik Anpin. V'zecha v'shlimos haklali shall zer anpin, and this is the fulfillment, let's say the completion of zer anpin, shlim v'lo l'chal star. So this process, which he says the yud, which is going, he's going to say some things about the yud. We may have to read down below a little bit to get into the depth of this, I guess. Shlim v'lo l'chal star, amnam av shlemos yehi, the shemilas ahi, yehi, that the word yehi, Romas the Sod Shlemus, the Zer Anpin, it's a reference to the completion of Zer Anpin Kamosha, his bar. So there we see that, therefore we see that Zer Anpin gets all the shefa, it's the eighth, it's the Osa pre part. He said, Im kol zechab ein kan shlemus gemura, because it's a dada, but it's not complete on all sides. Why? Mekeben she'ein nizkar nukva de zer anpin b'midas yehi, because there's no mention here of the nuk. Where's the other hay? The zer anpin einu shalem, and so although zer anpin has all the shefa that he's getting from the first yud, let's say, through the hay, he's still not complete. L'gam recha below nukva, because he has no female aspect. So this is all referenced in the language of this pasuk. Let's go back to the beginning. I probably should have gone through that a little bit more. So that's his point. His point is not so much about the words dasha and haaretz dasha, but the haaretz really refers to the nook. Below Amar Milas Yehi, didn't say the word Yehi over there, just said there's a fact here that the Aretz has this dasha in it. Ki hapasuk ayrecha bebeisa iver shachadaim lo nizgala zer anpen klal v'lo choyabo shum shlemas canal, and he's not complete. So he's still inside the womb. Want to know, so he's saying, I guess, that in this particular case, Zer Anpin already has all the shefa. We're talking about once again, the kesser of Erik Anpin, the kesser, and we're talking about different parts of that kesser. So then Zer Anpin actually is going to be born out of that. V'yatzias Zer Anpin oz amar chapasid vayehi, etc. Vayehi Cain. Then it says vayehi Cain. So now, because Zer Anpin is grown, and he's become completed, so therefore you have the word Yehi, which means let it be, which is a lashon, he says, is a lashon leda. Because now there's an aspect of shleimus here. How is that? But it's not a complete shleimus. So he said, because originally he was revealed without a female part. Where it says, it doesn't say v'yehi, it says just bring out this dasha. So it sounds like this is the lashon of planting of somehow relationship between of building Zer Anpin. Eitz otza pri. He's the eitz that makes fruit. Below hisger eitz pri, but doesn't mention the eitz pri. Eitz pri osa pri. Kamosha hisger kain, but pasuk hakodim, but that previous pasuk ella haindach b'shum the osa pri hu Zer Anpin, the eitz pri is the nook for the Zer Anpin. Over the chila b'yotzel v'nizgala rak Zer Anpin hanikra osa pri v'chadaim lo nizgal hanukvach v'hanikras eitz pri. B'shum kach, and for this reason, gam ein nizgar hanukvach b'midas yehi, canal she's not also mentioned in this word, in this phrase. V'atem b'bachar b'masa nishlam Zer Anpin Bibachin shleimas gemurach b'kol zadadim. How does he come shalim? Meaning, where do we see that he has a female aspect? V'amer is aker mechai aser shmado, ki zer anpen na'aker b'makom mei ima. He's uprooted from the womb. Im b'baz zugo, together with his female counterpart. V'yotza l'chutz v'oz ne'aker m'zer anpen shem yehi, and then is removed from zer anpen the name yehi. V'ishtel ba'achra, and he becomes planted in a different place. V'nishtacha b'shem acher, so he says he planted not a different place, but he says that he becomes planted in a different name. Koloma shezer anpen v'nukva nishtalo, v'higdilu b'bechinas netius, like plantings, what do we call it? Saplings, I think they call it. V'oz nizgala chem, so then you see now zer anpen v'hein hanukva, you see them both. B'kol kamasa v'nishla b'bechinas shleimas gemura b'kol the sedadim, and now in every way they're complete because they are zohar v'nuk. V'az nikro shnechem b'shem havaya elokim, and now you could see them in these two names. Havaya, which is their anpen, I guess elokim over here refers to the nuk. Kasiv v'komoshe ne'emar v'yita Hashem elokim, that he planted this. Pirish k'shenish talochu zer and v'nuk b'bechinas netiya, so they're plantings. Az nikro havaya elokim. So I have to get a drink. 1 second. Okay, so now we're going to go on, and we're going to, I guess, I have to keep in contact, so with the actual words of Rashbi. So going up above to number 9, he says, Bein Yud the Yud the Yehi, between the Yud, the two Yudin of Yehi, Nishba the Bardashka the Ratika the Ze'era. He says there is a blowing of the nose there, the nose of Atika, which is Eric Anpin, the Ze'era to Zer Anpin, Mis Ata Bekitra. And so this is an area of some question that we had, if you think back, of what this word Kitra means here. And also what the word Isatar means, which means crowned. Bekitra could mean a lot of different things, but I think he means a vapor. But is adar bekitra datika. He karuma ilod is dake v'sasim. Now that's also a contradictory. To me, it seems like a contradictory idea. He says it's the kruma davira, which covers over the mochstima. He kruma ilo the is dakech. It becomes refined out. V'sasim, and it closes. So in other words, it seals, like over the mochastimah. He's going to talk about that, so we'll read it. Hey Eloah, the upper hey, this ata berucha, which covers over, again the word is ater, the rucha, the nukvin, the bardashka. This ata berucha, the nukvin, the bardashka. Now, I'm learning a little bit with my grandson, L'Kuti Maran, in the second L'Kuti Maran. He deals with the word pardashka, where over there he said that pardashka is the gematria of tarfu. Tarfu is like, this is his metaphor, like Ben Porus Yosef, it's the same letters, which he says has the same gematria as Asmab and Kasa Kamagkana. They come out to be the gematria of pardashka. Over here, he does add it up down below, but a slightly different addition, I think. But that's a basic idea. So let's read the Sasim Hey Love is Ata Berucha de Nukvin de Bardashka, and it's crowned over by the nostrils of the nose. The Nafik Achaya, that go out, that the whatever is inside of that nose, that vapor or that breath, from the inside of Eric Anpin, so to speak, is coming out to bring the life force to Zer Anpin. Let's read as long as, into the detail of this, and let's see what he says. On page Reish Aleph now, we're on page Reish Aleph, backwards. He said, Bekit foy de katfin. So that's the first part. What does this mean? Betocha gugolta de Eric Anpin. So he says, in Bekit foy de katfin. So inside of the skull of Eric Anpin is this rucha. Berucha or beruach hayotzech machachoitim, with that breath. The ruach has so many different meanings to it. I'll call it a breath for right now. Tsarira, bound, the masculine, bound to the balance scale. Did I read this? I don't know. I don't remember seeing the masculine, but there it is. And it comes out, up above, he says it comes out to be Yaku instead of Yud Ke Yud. So he says this fact, that when we talk about the balance scale, we're really talking about das. The das is the middle line. And so therefore you have now the letters Yud K, that refers to this Yud, which is from Chochmah through Bina, and then finally producing this Vav. Me'irim misantrim osius Yaku. Bekruma de Avira. And where do we see this? We now see this in this crust of Avira over the Mochas Dimah, of the Nikva HaChotim, also referring from that place. So it's two things. So going back, I'm saying it wrong, is that the Yud represents the Kruma Davira. And then the Hey represents an outlet in some way, where the Ruach that's inside, again, where does Ruach come from? We call it a Ruach, it's a Ruach, okay? It's a vapor that's blowing out of the nose. Bekruma Davira, and through the nostrils. Vashisha Kitzvah's the goof Eric Anpin, it winds up going all to that Kamo she is boyer. We're going to explain. That the upper Yud, the Hisata Bekitra Da'atika. So here we go with the word Kitra. Os Yud Elyon, the cross, which he says the Kruma Davira. Misater, it becomes like a crown, or again, what's the right word? Bekita de Eric Anpin. The word kitter has a lot of possibilities of what it could mean, with the vapor that comes out of Eric Anpin. And Mavar Hechon Makom Os Yuda Elyon. So where in fact let's zero in on this Yud, which is deeply inside of the crown of Eric Anpin. Umahu in the kitter v'amar it's the upper crust. It covers over the Mochas Dimah. Ki Os Yuda Elyon shamarnu. He kruma elyon asosem es mochas dimah. It seals it up. The izdake, but then this is the stira that was a little hard to understand. First, it becomes extremely refined. What does that mean? V'akruma zechem izdake umerova zikuch, and because it becomes so, it doesn't say what is the mechanism by which it becomes so refined. Because you have like what's going on down below and what's, where it's coming from up above or down below. And Merova Zichov Ola HaKiter Muchas Dimah de Eric Anpen the Yotze Derek HaKrum that goes out through this cross. V'HaKiter Hazeh, so here we're talking about the Kitter, which is like Lashon smoke. But it's also Lashon of binding. So this is actually this. What is this? It's the secret of the Chochmah the Keser, which is the Mochas Dimah Nikra Aviradachya. So the Kitter is actually the Aviradachya that covers over the Mochas Dimah, but through it comes out vapor or this Ruach, or what is it? Because the nose is referred to the Ruach. So that's why it's called a krum of air. So you have to think of what air could possibly mean. It means it's very little substance to it. Then it says, not only that, but it's sasum, amnam ikraha or shall muchas dimon nishar daim sasum. So you probably remember this from the last time we did this, coming back now. And he says furthermore that there's a hay on the top. Hey Elor, and it winds up being what? Being crowned over, covering over The rucha, the nukva, the pardashka, the nostrils, the nafek la'achaya, that are going out to bring life force. Osei ha'elyon, that lehahe, mis'ata beruach shal nikve ha'choitim. So imagine in the letter hey, I don't know how you figure this out. If you look at, if I'm thinking about my nose, say for example, you would say that the structure on the outside of that nose is, it sounds like, it seems to me, is that that's the atara of the rucha de nukve. So it's coming out of the nose, but this is on top of it, or panimi to it, or become first on. Yeah, it came first, and it covers it over. Os hea elni misante berucha b'shecha v'nikve chachot de erikanpen. Misham yotza v'nimshach haruach lamata k'gedei l'hachios as zer anpen, in order to bring life forth into zer anpen. So the Indian is like this: Shenikve hachotim de erik anpen hein sod os hea elyon de erik anpen, that the secret of the upper hay of erik anpen, of the nikve of the nikoivim elu over ruach. So what comes through these openings, which are covered over? It seems to me like, the bridge of the nose, or the structure of the nose, is actually this avira, over nikve elu over ruach elyon. So passes through this upper breath, which goes out, and it is the bina in the keser of keser. And he says, so he says, we have to finish this out. Oh, we're in a different place. So I'm going to stop here because I want to go to the other sefer. So, because it's going to start describing the vav of that group. Today, I think, let's see, I saw it today is the 8th day of Sivan. Okay, I'm going to stop that there.